Hey guys, it is Nolan and Jason here for Plumbing Webmasters. How's it going?
Howdy.
All right, so topic today, plumber marketing, the problem with not knowing agencies versus client demand. And this one's important for anybody that's gotten this far, because anybody that's this far is close to not being like the 99% of all the other plumbers out there.
Right.
And so we talk about this all the time, but we really have talked about it so much that we finally formed some really cohesive thoughts about it and been able to articulate it a little better, even though I have trouble with articulating my thoughts. But so it's been 13 years watching people do this. And essentially what I mean here by this is that because the majority of contractors or plumbers demand not to be involved in their marketing or don't understand it well enough, the industry pushes them as a whole towards dumbed down marketing that isn't good for them.
Right. Far too much of the industry just says, well, okay, fine, if that's what you want, even when it's ineffective.
Yeah. So and this is way worse than what it sounded like just then. And what that means is they won't give them a custom website. They won't write much content. They'll never work on the organic effort. In fact, what they'll do is give them a template-based site with very little to no content or copied content, never work on it, and push the plumber into paid ads, paid social, paid on search engines, and that is the main thing, and that has huge consequences to them. And then I had somebody doing this to me again. We talk about it all the time. They're not up there because they're big because they're up there.
Right.
So a guy was saying, and they'll, because of all this, and it's hard to understand. So someone listening to this is frustrated and wants to learn more. And there's a fine line between that we talked about going overboard with knowing what they're supposed to be doing and working with professional services.
Right.
But most people don't ever do that, and they come up with narratives to make their ego and themselves feel better, meaning it's okay that I don't show up in map ranking hardly ever or at all, or that I don't have any organic ranking.
Right.
And they'll write a narrative. This guy was saying, well, I'm in these publications and I'm in this contractor book and I get these calls and I stay pretty busy, and if I want to, I'll direct mail or Valpak them. And then I didn't say anything the first time because a lot of information was exchanging during this long 45-minute conversation. The second time he did it, and I said, I'm not agreeing with that statement. I said, I know you're trying to validate that through me as the industry expert, which I think I am, but you're wrong in that. And he said, I said, you're saying that it doesn't matter to be up in ranking.
Yeah.
And the opposite is true. It is the big show. It is where you should be. You're just frustrated because you can't get up there. And so the truth is you'd like to be up there. You're just trying to get me to agree to validate the false narrative that you created to explain the situation.
I had a call the other day that a client was simultaneously convinced that being up there in ranking didn't really help and nobody could get up in ranking.
Right.
He was convinced that only big national organizations were up in ranking.
Right.
I was able, well, if you search this right here, that's not the way it is. And he wouldn't listen. And he was absolutely convinced, like you say, of the narrative in his head that this is how it is.
And all the ranking, in fact, is local business.
Yeah.
Not national. And in fact, it's all local. So I'll go back to this again. So just to reiterate, the clients end up getting nothing because they don't want to deal with the issues of optimization and digital signaling to Google, which isn't really hard, but it's foreign enough for someone's brain not to want to deal with it,
Right.
which is fine. This is a frustration with anything. Like a plumber's probably frustrated on the same level with their clients' misunderstanding of the plumbing situation.
Oh, I'm sure.
When they go to explain it. So since we know this that well, I actually feel empathy and bad for clients that can't figure this out. We end up dealing with really the 1% of people who figure it out and then want to invest in the digital branded signaling.
People who either figure it out or realize they don't understand and go to us and say, please help me.
Please help. I'm
and
tired of...
maybe they never really figure it out, but they trust us.
Right.
And that's just as good.
It's just as good. I don't know all the tax strategies and tax law that my CPA knows.
Right.
But I trust her, and she does a great job. I certainly don't throw her to the curb, and we talked about that too. You can get overboard, and you know what's weird about our professional services compared to like legal or accounting or estate planning, stuff like that, or maybe even a therapist or something. People don't just scorch and burn all their professional advisors.
Right.
But
the longer you have them, the more likely you are to, like, if you find a lawyer that you like and takes care of you, you basically,
life.
If you need a lawyer,
life.
you will keep that lawyer for life. Same thing for CPA.
Same thing.
You know, same thing a lot of time for your doctor. People often don't replace their doctor until their doctor retires or dies.
You want it.
You know,
you want it.
It's like, I know this guy. I've been going to him forever.
Yeah. So when people do that and they find a great digital marketing agency, of course, like plumbing webmasters, but you stay with that. It is a professional relationship that's needed in order to send the correct digital signaling to Google. And I'll say this just as a little blurb here: your objective is to champion your digital signaling to Google.
Right.
That is SEO. That is search engine optimization. So that's the content, the changes, the code, the speed, the URL structuring and citations and links and reviews and signaling of reviews like data pins and all this stuff. Those things are all the signals they see, and then I think you had said this better, that they don't really grade it, but they compare it to the other plumbers' digital signaling.
Right.
And then whoever deserves to show up in ranking shows up.
They show the best one they have available for the area.
Nolan Walker here for Data Pins. You may not know, but I own a software company, and we have a proprietary software called Data Pins, DATAPINS. You can search it at datapins.com. This is not white labeled. I actually own this piece of software, and I made it for you. It was made for contractors. You can actually take pictures of jobs, up to 6, make a caption about the material, the brand, the situation, the repairs, and post that back to your individual pages on your website, just like that. It's super simple. Anyone could use it. It also texts and emails your clients direct links to your reviews, so it helps reputation and reviews, which helps conversion and map placement. The geo coordinate gets grabbed by data pins, and Google can tell where you are. So instead of them just seeing reviews, they see all jobs or even estimates that you do. This vastly outperforms just getting reviews. Helps the map show up, helps organic keywords, and remember those captions that you're putting in there help expand the keywords per page, and it's great regular content. I love it. We made it just for you. It is organic optimization on steroids for both your website, your rankings, and the map placement. Check out Data Pins. I think you'll be happy you did. So one thing that comes to mind is that often someone will say, oh, you don't need to make a new website, do you? I have one. And I'll say, and I'm not to be rude, just straightforward, said, hey, does your website look like the other websites that are dominant in your marketplace? I said, you don't need to be some sort of digital marketing guru to understand this. Just look at your website and look at the other ones. Has no content. It's a basic template. It looks bad. It never changes.
Yeah.
Your website's in bad shape, and if you just took 30 seconds to think about it, you'd know that, and you'd see that it's in bad shape. If it was
working, you wouldn't be calling.
Yeah, so people want to look at this, but your signal is all these things, and your job is to champion your brand. Our job is to help you champion your branded signaling and do a lot of professional things that you will never be able to do. Another comment people make to me is like, well, I could do it, but I'm just too busy. Well, no, you couldn't do it any more than I could go descale and reline my pipes, you know, or find my leak in my, the truth is you couldn't do it. You absolutely couldn't do it. Now, I might be able to eventually leak locate as my house is, growing black mold and hemorrhaging from the foundation, and reline it and descale it or whatever I had to do. But that's ridiculous. And that's just one plumbing thing that I have to mess with over the course of my lifetime.
Yeah.
And that one thing would not be worth my involvement, of paying a professional to do it.
Right.
So it's not really any different. I always like that analogy to put these statements that people make as these broad, incorrect narratives
Yeah.
and throw it
That's
back
actually
to them.
that whole thing of I could do this myself, but I don't have time, so I got to hire somebody. We hear that a lot.
We hear
Actually.
that a lot. They wouldn't say that to their CPA, their attorney, or their doctor.
Yeah.
And I don't know that anybody would give us the credibility of the skill sets, but we know quite a bit of stuff, and it's gotten pretty intricate and far-reaching,
Yeah.
to the point that we, in a separate company, I have a software company that has spent $1.5 million just to have the proper signaling for them.
Yeah.
And are they going to go do that? No. So
I got a call last week. Someone asked me to do more blogging, and I had to explain why. Because he had gotten a call from another company.
To blog.
Oh, you got to have blogs. And it's like,
Right.
no. God, no. It's a waste of time and money.
It's penalizing the sites at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll sum up some stuff. We don't have to talk about these concepts forever, but the summary of this stuff is we still offer the full-fledged professional service.
Yeah.
Even though it's frustrating when people don't want to hear the information.
Right.
It is not worth it for someone to brush off everything and make a narrative. The narrative that the person does and brushes off isn't valid and loses their ability to show up in ranking. Where the big show, where basically 70% of all the clicks come, most people going to look for your services still on Google, vast majority click on a non-paid item, which is your digital brand mapping, reputation reviews, keywords that link through to your website, click through to your website. And so we still offer all of that, and we are one of the only ones. I don't know anyone that would beat us on organic, which is where they're going to get the return on investment.
Kind of tying into this, I've got a really good example of this kind of thing. Is every so often we'll get a client that'll call in, and they have looked at other websites or gotten a call from another company, and they call us and they're like, well, these pages have too much content. I want it all taken out.
Yeah.
And another agency would say, well, if that's what you want, delete, fine. And I will argue with them for days to prevent that from happening, because I know that it's not, it's going to hurt them. It's going to kill their business.
Too much content, too little content, what content to keep, how to do it. Also, other people, and I feel for them on this, but they'll say, well, other people said the same thing you said.
Yeah.
And, they learn the shtick that theirs is a shtick because they don't actually have any skill sets or procedures, any services really. They're just slapping stuff together. Most of their money is made on slapping a fee on SEO, which they don't actually do anything, and then picking up their spend on Facebook or Google or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's where that stuff comes from. But it doesn't, just because they say it doesn't mean it happens. And if you can actually look at the websites and the effort and a couple of referrals and find, you can tell.
Yeah.
If anybody can tell if they're just honest with themselves. If they look at a price, they're like, oh, I'm going to use this company that'll do it for this much out of another country. And then but if you really look at it, I mean, you can trick yourself into thinking, hey, this looks great.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Liberty Tax Service with the person dressed up like the Statue of Liberty waving at everyone.
Flipping their sign around.
That's flipping their sign around. Obviously is cheaper than your skilled local CPA.
Yeah.
That might deal with businesses as a normal thing.
Yeah.
And the business owner knows not to go pick that service. But in our industry, for some reason, they'll pick the Liberty Tax spinning the sign in the corner.
God, that's a good analogy too, because you're right. They will. They'll entrust their business to the guy wearing an ape suit by the side of the road.
Yeah. Hey, Nolan.
Got marketing?
Yeah. All right.
Marketing going ape.
Right. Nolan Walker here with Plumbing Webmasters. I'd like for you to consider becoming a client. We have a lot of great people that work here at the company. We help hundreds of clients. We've done this for 12 years now. We help clients dominate online. We're a digital marketing agency. I honestly don't think there's anyone better than us at this point in time. We'll help you with your design, your code, your content. We'll help you rank on Google Maps. We'll help you reputation reviews organically. We even have proprietary software that I own in a different company called DataPins, DATAPINS. DataPins allows you to post pictures of jobs with captions and geo coordinates right onto the website. It'll take 90 seconds. A 12-year-old could use it. but you'll be able to post daily and get daily activity, great content. It even posts it back to your Google account. It even texts and emails the client. So one simple thing where you pick a couple of photos you took, wrote a caption, put in the client's cell phone number and hit pin, and boom. And then that is in addition to all the other things that we do for you for SEO. We can also help with paid ads and other things too. But man, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call. You can check us out at plumbingwebmasters.com. But I mean, it is someone's obligation to learn these things in business. It is kind of tough. Business is rough. You got to know a lot of stuff. If they're on the path to listen to us, they know. But I wanted to bring this up because the stuff that you need isn't even sold anymore because your peers, whoever's listening to this.
Yeah, your peers have said they don't want it, and the agencies have given up trying to sell.
That's correct. Your peers are so bad at marketing, and they have resoundingly said they don't want to participate, they don't want to get a lead, they don't want to do a pin, they don't want to pay, they don't want to do any of it, that 95 at least percent have demanded cheap junk.
Yeah.
It's the reason you can't go get a good hamburger or a good burrito or healthy food at a fast food restaurant, because 90+% of the rest of us have demanded the cheapest product possible.
Right.
And that is the same exact scenario with plumber marketing. And we're one of the only companies that gives them the high-end professional service.
Yeah.
So
that has actually resisted the call to make it cheaper and not do it properly.
we end up working with that subset of clients that is on that edge of wanting to come up, believes they can get up in ranking. Obviously they can. And the good part about that is that of course 99% of people do a pretty damn bad job.
Yeah.
And when they go pay someone, they get the services demanded by the 99%, which is low-end, cheap junk that gets judged as such by Google. Horrible grade, horrible stuff, and then gets what they deserve when it comes out the other end of optimization, of ranking on the algorithm, on Google, on their maps, their keywords, and everything else.
Yeah. That's why if you get proper services, you can rock it up pretty fast, because chances are your competitors are not doing that.
Even the guys that they think they can't beat.
Yeah. A lot of time, the guy that you think you can't beat, he's up there because no one has done better.
Right.
He's not really great by Google standard. He's just the best.
He's been there a while.
Of a bad bunch.
They trust him.
Yeah.
And
not necessarily like a bad plumber, a bad marketer.
Right.
And Google looks at this group they have in that local area, and they're like, well, this is the best one. He kind of sucks, but he's better than all the other ones.
They're going to pick them over time off of signals coming through. And if your signaling starts going higher all the time, you will eventually pass those people. They're not signaling well and not putting out much data. That's what we're paid to do,
right?
Is to help with that. The client has to participate a little bit with getting pins and reviews, but almost nothing.
Have you ever seen that meme format that it's got the girl walking hand in hand with the guy and the other hot girls walking by and the girl's turning back? That's what we're trying to do for you. Yeah. We're trying to, Google is the guy and he's with the other top ranked person currently, but you walk by and he's like, ooh.
Yeah. So. I like my Liberty tax service deal better, but yeah, I get it. That's it in a nutshell, though. I don't want to beat that topic to death, but we're offering the full professional suite of services that somebody needs for organic optimization, which is where they are. Anybody who says that they don't want that is trying to help their selves feel better about not being up there.
Yeah.
And doesn't know what they're denouncing,
or has just given up, because we see that a lot.
They're denouncing.
They tried at one time and they've gotten bad service so many times that they're just throwing up their hands in despair.
Right.
And that's always sad to see.
Yeah, I don't tend to do that as much. Everybody does that and gives up on stuff, but when I have a problem with professional service or a situation, you dig your heels in, and even if you failed, you just keep trying.
Yeah.
And that's what eventually gets you up in marketing. And in my opinion, which obviously, because I ended up here from being in business, the lead to the sale is the very beginning start of the successful business model.
Right.
There's more stuff to do, but we're step one.
But none of the other stuff you have to do is worth doing if you hadn't gotten that first step.
You can't get there without leads and sales. That's our job.
Right.
Someone else has got to figure out how to make a profit and invest and handle their taxes. That's the other steps.
Yeah.
But those are the hardest one is the lead to the sale. If you keep on that first step long enough, you'll eventually figure out the rest of the life cycle of a profitable business.
Right.
Even if it takes you a little bit of time, which it did mean it does most people.
Yeah.
You know, but all right, guys, call us when you're ready. Like and subscribe. We would love to help you. We're the ones helping. We are a pretty tight-knit group up here. It is a professional crowd that they deal with. I don't ever really talk about that on these videos, but they don't get schlepped off to poor quality services.
Right.
You know,
right.
We don't hand them over to somebody enough.
I mean, at this point, our entire staff has been with us. Like,
been a while.
Like I think our newest hire has been with us 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Good stuff. All right, guys, call us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to be of service.
Take it easy.